Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mondays with Michelle video. So you found some old family photos, but you have no idea who the people are. The type of photo, clothing, hairstyles, and the setting itself can help us determine when and why the picture was taken. In this video, we'll look at various websites that can help you interpret the clues in your photographs. Let's get started. What I wanted to talk about, as I mentioned, is some resources that I came across in a course I took recently on how to date family photographs. And one of the resources I wanted to show you is this article from the National Archives. It has some really good hints and tips. It's written by, I think, some of the people that are involved in the conservation of different resources at the National Archives. So in addition to checking for written clues, like on the backs of photographs, they talk about analyzing fashions and hairstyles, if they're military photos or if they wore some kind of uniform in their job. That can give you clues. They also talk about looking at the background and other objects. And the course that I just finished taking, one of the photos they had us analyze had a car in the photo. And I was able to at least narrow down the time frame for the photo based on researching that style of car, the model of car, to determine when it was manufactured. So the importance of the background and other objects, that's something that can really help you, whether it's ads for products that you see, for posters on buildings, actual signage. There's all kinds of clues that sometimes we overlook. And obviously they talk about asking other family members to see what they know about the photograph. One thing I really found interesting was the course went into quite a bit of detail on the format of the photograph, and I hadn't actually realized before taking the course that I had photographs that were many different formats. So some of the websites I'll show you today give some really good hints on how to identify different types of photographs based on the photographic process, because that can also help date your photograph. And looking at what the photo is mounted on and how it's mounted can also help date it. They talk about looking at the color, the tone, and looking at the surface. Is it glossy? Does it look like it's a fibrous surface to the paper? So those are also clues. The type of deteriorations, certain types of discoloration will tend to point to a particular type of photographic process. And they give you some clues here. Family Search also has a wiki page on identifying photographs. And I wanted to include this link because the company that has posted the information on this wiki page, if you look to the right, the International Institute of Genealogical Studies, that's the company I'm taking all of the courses from. This one over here. So I thought it was interesting that they do have this wiki page. So a lot of the information that they have on here, it's a small portion of what they covered in the course that I took. So that's another really good starting point, background information. They talk about also trying to determine what would the event have been that caused that photo to be taken, because certainly in the early days of photography, it wasn't like today where everyone has a camera or a cell phone and you're just taking pictures at any moment. In the past, photographs would have been for momentous occasions, perhaps an anniversary, a wedding, an engagement. So figuring out what the event is can go a long ways towards identifying the individuals and figuring out who you've actually got a picture of. The next website I discovered when I was looking for resources while taking this course, I found this website, phototree.com. It says vintage photography, writing, and other historical and genealogical interests. So what I liked about this website, they've got a historical overview of the different kinds of photographic processes through the ages. Their website also has, under this identification menu, identifying phototypes. And I found this was a really handy reference, because if you take a look at this photographic characteristics, they give a really nice kind of summary for you to try to distinguish between daguerreotypes, ambrotypes, tintypes, carte de visite, cabinet card. I found this was really handy, remembering some of the characteristics of the different types of photos. And they also have detailed pages on each of those. So if you want to know what daguerreotypes are, they have a whole page that gives you detailed information. The other thing I like about this website is there's lots of pictures, because I find, especially when we're talking about photographs and the processes, it is much easier to understand what they're talking about when you can see the detailed illustrations. So I found this website was useful. This company does offer photo date analysis service. It is an American company. They've also got this section, case studies, where they talk about how they actually analyzed these images and dated them. They have a section on photo care, which has some useful information, and books, various articles, and a resources page. But as I said, I found this information on identifying photos was really handy. They do have a number of research guides available for sale. They're focused on each of the main styles or main processes of photography. So that might be something of interest. Since one of the sections in the course had to do with understanding clothing styles and identifying photos based on clothing style, I found this particular website, Vintage Dancer, was really helpful. And its focus is not just the history of clothing. They have links to places where you can buy vintage clothing, but part of the website is the whole fashion history. So for example, this is the page for women's fashion, but you can see they've got links to shoes, dresses, lingerie. So if I click shoes, it is showing different shoe styles. But what I liked about this, I can look at 1900s clothing, see pictures, and if I scroll right down to the bottom here, we get all kinds of links to styles of clothing, looking at parasols, makeup, jewelry, bags, accessories. So that was something that was really helpful. And it's broken down by era. So I can look at 1920s fashion. I can look at the 1920s fashion history and see what the hairstyles look like. So there's an awful lot on this website that is useful if you are trying to figure out from a picture what era it would fit into. There are a lot of pictures on this website to give you an appreciation for what the styles were like. Now, Family Search also has a blog, the Family Search website, and I typed in the word fashion, and there are 81 results talking about fashion in the different eras. So if I click on fashion in the 1880s, how men, women, and children dressed, there's articles on that. So again, Family Search has some good resources. I also found this website, Jane Shrimpton, who is a UK professional dress historian, portrait specialist, and photo detective. And what I like about her website, she has a blog. So in addition to the books that she's written, she has a blog with various articles, all to do with fashion, dating photographs, and like this one, how to date old photographs from fashion. So if we click that, there's all kinds of information here to help you. So her website is well worth exploring. One of the things to keep in mind, some of the resources I'm showing you are North American, some are British. So those of you that did have ancestors who came to North America, the thing to remember is fashion may be slightly different in North America compared to Britain in terms of both the year when a particular style became fashionable or was introduced. There might also be certain trends that were unique to a particular country. So you've also got to consider when you're looking at photographs, what country you think that photograph was taken in, because that will make a difference in the sites that will be able to provide useful information. I found this particular Facebook group. It is a Facebook group that provides help to its members on dating old photograph. So if you look at their description, it says a group for people who love old photographs, need a date for them, or just love talking about them. We help each other narrow down a time frame by using clues such as photo medium, clothing, hairstyles, trends, props, and other distinguishing details. I've included this website. The Rydale Group had a talk from Stephen Gill some time ago. He is a professional photo restorer if you need those kinds of services, but he also has written several books. One of them, The Family Detective, where he talks about different ways to try and identify why that photo was taken and how to date the photo. He's got another book, Dating by Design. This particular website, The Family Curator, her focus is how to care for all of the memorabilia that we have, whether it's artifacts, whether it's photos. So her blog has an awful lot of information. We've got articles on how to add metadata without special software. There's articles on caring for your keepsakes. So she's got information on preserving your different artifacts. And the last website I wanted to just show you is if you are wanting to have archival, safe, acid-free materials for protecting your photos and your other keepsakes, I found this particular website, the Conservation Center for Art and Historic Artifacts, had a really good explanation of the different kinds of materials and what would be considered archival, what options to avoid. So this is something that I've bookmarked for myself for reference purposes. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Don't forget to download the handout. You'll find the link in the video description at the bottom of your screen. You may need to click Show More to see the handout links. Thanks for watching.